Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in the
Shade in
City.
the City.
I'm your girl Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we're jumping into our review of Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15, episode 10, Healing by Sheree. Now, if you have not already, you know what you need to do. Because you love us and we love you. You should probably hit that like button because we would appreciate it. It's the gift that keeps on giving and it's completely free. Yeah,
And that subscribe button.
that's free too. So, and yeah, let's jump into it. It was a pretty good episode. I'm gonna be honest, even though Drew, I love me some Drew, that's my girl. But I don't know if I really kind of get where she was going with this episode. Not saying Sheree was right, but let's hop into it. Let's talk about it. Let's get shady. Kandi doing her annual Thanksgiving give back. Brooklyn gets to meet Kenya's father for the first time, so I thought that was dope because isn't Brooklyn damn near 3 years old? But I guess because of COVID and whatever, I can understand. Drew and Ralph are actually hosting a brunch before the ladies go on their trip to Portugal. Ralph makes it a point to say that, the men get along so well, and he's hoping that the fact that, they can be drama free rubs off on the ladies. And I said, oh, well, touche, Ralph. I get that. Now Kandi and Todd arrive, and then Sonya and Ross aren't far behind them. Courtney even brings Bryce to the festivities. Now Kandi is shocked that Bryce is Courtney's baby daddy because he's so nice, and she wonders how he ever put up with her. And I was like, well, Kandi. But yeah, no. And then I think Kenya walks in, and she seems to be happy to see Bryce as well. As we know, they did a movie together. And I'm pretty sure she's thinking the same thing that Kandi's thinking. Now, apparently the men are supposed to be cooking for the ladies, so they hop in the kitchen, but they have a chef kind of, so really I don't think they're really cooking. The chef is cooking it, which would make
I think it was supposed to be like a Ralph thing, like a so I think it was kind of a surprise also to Drew. But apparently, yes, he doesn't have any skills in the kitchen, so she didn't
Well,
really know
what's
how
so
he's
crazy
gonna.
to me is that all these men, though, except like maybe Scott Lee, that I saw like really jump in, I feel like all of the men were kind of like, I don't know, it just makes me feel like, so are y'all all just that rich and spoiled that y'all just don't ever go in the kitchen and cook? I couldn't imagine it, but
I mean, if there's a chef already in the kitchen, I for damn sure ain't going in there. I'm gonna
I can't.
sit
I
down.
see. I
I'm gonna
think
sit down, have my drink, and watch.
I think if I had the money, I think that would probably be one of the last things that he would ever spend money on.
Maybe him, but I can see you doing
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
it. He said, "Oh yeah,
that
absolutely."
that like actually being an expense.
But also, he cooks like a chef, so you're getting the chef experience anyway.
I wish he would clean up like a chef. But anyway, so Sheree asked if Kenya's new man is coming, Roy, as we know, and Kenya said no, he can't make it. So Sheree says that she talks about this new man she has, but no one ever gets to see him. And I said, well, that's not true, Sheree. We got to see him. You just ain't got to see him. Now, Marlo arrives with Scott Lee, and all of the ladies are surprised and they want to know more about him. And Kenya jokes on his clothes, which, she thinks are a little tore down. And Kandi says she knows of him, and said that she didn't picture Marlo with someone like Scott Lee because, Marlo's always, he got to spend something to get something type of, chick. So, but she said, okay, girl, whatever you want to do.
We're turning over a new leaf, I guess.
Maybe, look, all that KFC she eating off of that deal, I turn over a new leaf too. I'm just saying the money, and she turned into a business opportunity all because of some shit with Marlo. I think I would be able to let some shit with Marlo go too. Every time KFC wrote me a check, me and Ace a check, I would forgive Marlo.
Kenya asks what's going on with the movie. And Candy says that, she's hiring crew right now. She's also casting. So Candy's like, where my offer at? She said, girl, where your audition at? You just think you about
Right.
to get an offer? You got an audition?
Kenya feels like she doesn't audition anymore. She's above that now.
Yeah. Well, apparently that's why she didn't make the movie. She let her know that Drew was cast as the leading lady. I don't know. She seemed a little bit salty, just a little
Just a
bit,
little bit.
just a little bit. And I swear the way these ladies are shading each other in the confessional, you would be
Yeah.
surprised if they can all sit down at the table and have a meal together. Like literally, they're all shady. I think
No,
even
but I do
Candy
like what Candy
shaded.
said about Drew though.
You said
She,
you do like it?
I do. I thought it was. I'm sorry. I thought the shade was so spot on. I think Candy, mostly everything she said in her confessionals was spot on and like witty and funny. But like Drew, it does play like even Drew is naive or plays the naive role. So who better to play a role in a movie of someone that's naive, gets turned out, and we all know what the whole storyline of this season for her is. So it's almost like she went and lived the movie, I guess. I don't know. But who better to play the role? Allegedly. I'm just saying.
So, Roy calls Kenya while at the table, and she's like showing her phone around so he can say hi to everybody. Marlo is like, "What? That's Roy?
I know him.
Oh, I've been there with him before." Now, clearly, Kenya did not want to hear this BS, so she got up, she stepped away, acting like she couldn't hear what the hell was going on. And of
Right.
course, Marlo's still at the table, carrying on, talking about this. So Sonya is just like, girl, what are the chances? Sonya is here for all the drama. And Kenya said, you know what? When she got back, she's like, I'm glad he realized what not to do. Okay. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, so he could date me now. I was like, the shade.
Well, then
Okay.
Marlo says he was in my DMs. He slid in my DMs, girl.
I don't see why it matters.
I don't either. That was another one. Again, hate to say it, like with Drew. But anyway, we
Yeah,
continue.
I was confused about that. And Candy is just giggling. Okay, she's just having a good old time. Everybody like, girl, what's going on? What's all that about? She
And she just
said,
so happy it ain't
I'm
got
just
nothing to do with
thanking
her.
God it ain't me today.
Right.
So the guys are outside, they're getting acquainted, and seriously, now I'm really confused because Scott Lee said that he owns a restaurant, like I thought he said before, but I'm sorry, not Kenya, Candy said that he's the head chef at the restaurant. And I think Marlo also said that he's the head chef. So I don't know. So
I don't know, guys. Shade
if
Squad
somebody's
people in Atlanta, drop
overplaying
down in
their
the
hand,
comments.
I don't know if somebody's overplaying their hand. Maybe he's trying to fit in with the boys, all these business owners or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Shade Squad, Atlanta Shade Squad, drop down in the comments. Let us know. Does Scott Lee, is he a head chef somewhere in Atlanta or does he own a joint?
Then, out of all people, Sheree asked if the chef was going to get paid because there's some stuff going around on the internet saying that she didn't pay her chef. Drew said it's a lawsuit that her attorneys are handling. It's false information on the internet.
It's fake
Basically, she
news.
should know that. Okay. And basically, she says what happened with was the girl wanted to come and cook for the family, kind of like as a trial. Um, but there was hair in her food. It really wasn't, you know, hitting like that. And she said, needless to say, she didn't get the job. Um, but clearly, this girl is looking for attention because she's suing for $1,000. Everybody like, oh, okay, yeah,
Wow, like $1,000. Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
But I
And
understand where
Kenya,
Drew was coming from. You, boo boo.
her and Kenya was basically like, what the hell Sheree doing asking about somebody getting paid? I'm like,
Right.
girl, are all your bills paid? Do we need to check you, boo?
The same person that didn't want to pay Drew $1,000 last year.
So Drew was basically like, girl, like, what was that about? Like, I thought we supposed to be good. And Sheree is like, we are. And basically, she's just talking about the trip and how everyone's gonna heal and it's gonna be, she wants them to be open and work on themselves. Sheree says that she's glad that Courtney is coming, okay, because she's she can do some crisis management. Now Kenya said, I don't know about that because you see how it went down with her and Candy. Courtney said, of course you wouldn't. Kenya said, I don't do crisis management. I'm a crisis all on my own. Courtney was like, yeah, girl, we know.
And that's the point.
I said, oh.
But no, and then Courtney does this little, she's like, oh yeah, girl, da-da-da. And Kenya was like, stop touching me. We're not that cool yet.
Like, if I was Kenya, I'd have been looking at her like, do I know you? The hell you making all these little comments about, yeah, we know. Boo, you don't know me. You don't know me for real. So yeah, Kenya was like, stop touching me.
Right.
So, I thought, oh, look, Candy was like, okay, it's time for this brunch to be over.
Okay, she was like, Todd, let's go. They ain't came for me. Let's do it.
Exactly. It's about to take a turn for the worse.
All the ladies are packing for Portugal. They all get to the airport. Even Candy, who believes she has food poisoning, but still manages to make it. And I was like, okay, yeah, Candy.
I'd have been the same way. My sick ass would have been right on that damn plane.
You are funny. They arrive in Algarve at Portugal.
Algarve,
Portugal. And they
or at least that's the way Sheree pronounced it.
Okay. They said they thought they had left Candy behind because she wasn't in her seat for almost 2 hours. She apparently was in the plane bathroom, which I'm gonna be honest with you. I get butt scared when I get into like public situations. I know she couldn't help it because it's food poisoning, but like porta potties, airplane bathrooms, like my butt just clams up. Like I can't.
Girl, even production said her GI situation was insane. And then later when she was explaining it, it sounded like there would have been no, you can't help it. Yeah, because she said it was coming out of both ends.
Yeah, that would have to be high because literally having to be in, like, even when she was talking about throwing up, me having to look in put my head down in that situation would have made me even more. Like,
you can tell when she got on the bus though that she was still like sick. Like she looked like she was sweaty and clammy, right? And like,
oh baby. But yeah, so basically Sheree thanks the ladies for coming and again tells them it's a healing trip. Kenya turns her head around and then Sheree calls her out for it. And she's like, oh girl, I just wanted to look out the window, but I was looking at you. I was paying attention. But they all seem to be getting along and having a good time. Marlo is impressed with Sheree's accommodations. Everything was very nice. Sheree.
Right. I was like, oh, it's so nice. And then they said the W. I said, oh, okay, well, all right.
Kenya should definitely take some notes. So then they go to get a bite to eat and get settled. We learn that Ralph is in Vegas on a work trip to audition for Chocolate City Magic Mike or something like that. Which is, the chocolate version of Magic Mike. Apparently Rage has some female producer that was on set who thought he would be good for the job. And Candy can't comprehend Ralph out here shaking his ass for some cash. And Marlo says Heath has a better chance than Ralph. And I thought that was funny.
Chocolate City. I thought that was funny too.
And then they go up to find, get into their rooms, and there Sonia says that she wants to see who gets noticed more, to see who's really worldwide over there in Portugal. I thought that was cute too.
Marlo was
like, Candy would just looked at her and was like, really, bitch? And Marlo was like, oh, you messy.
Yes, she did. She's like, you messy. It became apparent to me that Drew really is dingy as hell while she was having a conversation with Monietta. So Mayetta was telling her that where they were was just south of Africa. I'm sorry, Africa was just south of them. And she was like, "Oh, girl, I never been to Africa. I just been to South Africa." The look on Manietta's face is like, "Okay, I ain't gonna call you out right now, but
That's
girl, you gonna
that's how you know Monyetta's a good friend. Like she was like, I'm not going to tell you.
yeah, but you can see all over her. You gonna regret saying that on camera."
Right.
So then Monyetta told her that she has an orphanage in the village of Big Ben in Swaziland. She's like, "Girl, you got a village?"
She said, no, I have an orphanage, sweetie. Orphanage.
Use your listening ears.
Listening ears, yes.
What the hell? I was like, yo, let me tell you something. Now, this girl is a little dingy, but she's okay with the shade. Okay. So she starts talking about how Sheree of all people brought up the lawsuit and she felt that, she was trying to be shady. Because of all, like, she, first of all, I guess she's talking about it in front of everybody instead of pulling her to the side or having like a phone call about it with her. But the fact that she was just like, okay, like, so is this person gonna get paid? Like, she was like, yeah, she was
She
feeling
was
some type
being
of way.
shady, but okay, here's my thing. Again, I love Drew, but let's not sit here and act like you ain't never done no shady. And I understand we're trying to move forward, and you're a different person, but they all do and say shady and talk behind each other's back. Why is this like? I don't know. For her to act as if it was so detrimental, and for Sheree to bring that up, I don't know.
Especially when it's something that's already in the blogs.
Right.
Um,
I don't know. I felt like, and Drew does do this at times. I felt like she was reaching for a moment to have a moment. And I kind of will get there. I was kind of with Sheree. I'm not about to pacify you.
like, okay, if that was Sheree's point, like we do this, like, like it's
Right.
playful and we shade
But that
each
wasn't
other all the
Sheree's
time.
point. That was the problem.
Yeah, Sheree brought
Sheree
up
made it
some.
tit for tat.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you sound crazy as hell right now. Like, was that really your intention behind what you were saying? Like, was to make it tit for tat or like a get back? Like, it made her
Right.
sound super immature and petty. But then Kenya and Candy are talking about her 3-year long divorce. Kenya jokes that she's been going through a divorce longer than she's been married.
I respect Candy for being a real friend and telling her that. Like, I'm tired of hearing about your 3-year divorce, girl. I'm tired.
That's probably why she's ready to throw up her hands and be like, you know what, let's just stay married.
Right.
Now she said she really didn't want to talk about
It might be cheaper to keep. It might be cheaper to keep them.
to keep him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He still want to be in his soft girl era.
Right.
Um, Basically, she said she didn't want to talk about, who she's dating now, but she's excited. And Candy wants to know if it's weird that Marlo went on a date with him before. She was like, "No, girl, he already told me. He already let me know." I said, "Oh, okay, that's what I like. That's what I like." So Sonya is telling Marlo that it's just crazy that um when Roy was in Marlo's DMs, um, basically we slid past that. But when Martell was in her DMs, it was a whole situation.
Even I think even Marlo said she was reaching on that one. She was like, y'all are doing too much."
Yeah, I didn't get it. I was confused. Um, and really, Marlo just want to know what the shade was that Kenya was throwing at the table because she didn't hear it. And Sonya tells her that she said, well, now at least he knows what not to do. This child said, as many men as she brought on this damn show, she, she said they all
No,
know what not to
When
do.
Marlo said that, I said, got him.
Yeah, she did because she.
I was like, we've seen too many of Kenya's bad choices and failed relationships on this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, um, The ladies are going to dinner. They're trying to figure out what authentic Portuguese cuisine is. And Marlo says she heard it was sardines. And she's excited because Marlo says she grew up eating sardines and Vienna sausages. I said, that sounds very nasty. And I'm not above it. Yes, I've had to, don't like them. Still never will. Not a Vienna sausage girl.
I
Kenya
had
wants
Vienna sausages when I was like a baby, but I've never had sardines.
Yeah, me either. Kenya wants to start off with shots, and the ladies begin being silly when Kenya dares them to like blink. It was actually really cute and a funny moment. Then the server brings back a full drink that looks nothing like a shot. Nothing like a shot.
He didn't
Um,
understand what was going on.
Right. Sheree shares that this trip, of course, is about getting things out on the table and, of course, healing. So Courtney takes the opportunity to address Kenya and says she didn't realize they had an issue till the other day. And Kenya is looking at her reflection in the butter knife. And I was like, well, at least it's not a steak knife. Apparently,
She was given Tamar
Mm.
in that moment from her show. She was just like I was like, oh, like,
So
girl, I don't even see you.
apparently behind the scenes, Kenya shared that Courtney will try to engage with her, or no, she doesn't really engage with her when she tries to talk to her. And so Sheree shares this with Courtney like an hour before they go to dinner. So of course she wants to address it. Kenya says her issue with her touching her was it came off playful, then she started being condescending, and Kenya realized that, that wasn't comfortable for her. So Courtney tells Kenya that she keeps getting mean girl vibes from her, and she doesn't know how she basically deals with everybody else, but they might be used to her mean girl vibes, but she's not here for it, basically. And, Drew's just like, boundaries. Everybody has boundaries. Drew's trying to be the voice of reason this season. Lord. Now,
Pray for
and
him.
then Drew's like, just like Candy's faces, we know who she is. She can't control her faces. She doesn't mean anything by it. And they all agree that Candy's faces, you can't take them to heart because
They actually showed her faces.
yeah, because she does have RBF. Drew addresses Sheree about the news she brought up behind her back while she wasn't present. Apparently, Sheree said something to Courtney and later told Ralph and Drew. So Drew says that, she felt let down and thought that they were becoming friends. And Sheree brings up the reunion and asks why Drew thinks she would have loyalty to her. Drew is confused because she thought they had discussed that and moved on. Drew just wants Sheree to own it. And Candy pipes in and says some of the stuff was taken back at the reunion, which makes Sheree even more mad. And
told her she thought she was making it up.
Right. And she says, but it wasn't by her. So then Kenya says the same thing and says that they were told that they could only keep a hat. Marlo seems to be the only one that got something or a couple things, while Sonya says she ain't get nothing either. Drew calls her out for not coming to her about something that's affecting her family. And Sheree basically says, well, now you know how it feels. And I said, okay, Sheree, how old are we?
Never mind. I'm gonna wait till you get there.
So, and Drew questions whether this was supposed to teach her a lesson and brings up how Sheree can't move forward. So she asks how is she hosting a healing trip, but she can't heal her damn self.
I was thinking it the whole time that they was going back and forth. I said, oh my God, she said it. She said it.
So Marlo starts, doing her, I don't know, her sound bowl on her glass. And apparently it's not working. Nothing is peaceful. Nothing is zen about this moment. And Drew says that, basically Sheree is incapable of basically taking accountability. And Kenya chimes in and says that she sees them as big sis and little sis. I was like, Kenya for the reach.
Not Venus. She said not Venus and Serena.
Right.
What'd she say? Brittany and Jamie Lynn?
Right. That's more like it. Who's pretending to be Brittany? I'm just saying. Now, Kenya, Okay, so Kenya asked Sheree what she needs to move forward. At this point, Drew is getting teary-eyed and she walks away from the table. And some of the girls get up to run after Drew, and Marlo is actually scolding Sheree and is like, "This is your event, you're hosting, and your guest is gotta leaving like in tears. So you need to go check on her." And so Sheree does get go, but she's like, "I'm hurt too, Marlo. I'm hurt too." And I said, "Sheree, you are at your big age, baby girl. I can't even say baby girl.
And
Mama
it's not
girl.
like she came at her disrespectful.
Grandma girl."
My thing is, you told everybody to put it out on the table about any issues they have, and that's exactly what she did.
Right. And I mean, but I do think Drew was reaching a little bit and like stretching with it, like, let's stop beating the horse. But if if she wasn't gonna accept it, move on. And just what type of person you dealing with, and y'all not really friends. I didn't think she needed to continue to beat it over the head. That's basically what I was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another review of Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you have not already, please make sure that you've hit that like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the IG. And we will catch you next week for another review. Might be a little bit late because we got things to do. But we will catch you with another review of Real Housewives of Atlanta next week. Have a good night and a great weekend. Bye-bye.